where the bad pianos start to show. Keys all out of tune, just watch 'em go. Welcome to Adam and Joe talking nonsense on the Outside Scoop podcast show.
Welcome to the Outside Scoop post-election special.
Post-election special.
The elections happened, and we are now under a new government,
Yeah.
Labour.
I feel, from a personal perspective, particularly upbeat.
Yes,
Yeah.
very optimistic.
I feel like there's a lot of opportunity in the future now.
I feel like it's nice to be on the winning side.
Yeah.
I haven't felt like I've been on the winning side since Brexit. You know, like it's always been voting against the government, against the policies, and always felt what they were doing was wrong. And now, you know, obviously things have still, you know, things will come out in a wash.
Yeah.
But I feel hopeful.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest takeaway is hopefulness.
Yeah.
It really does feel.
Yeah.
Good.
There's a change. There's a
Yeah,
change coming.
a change for the positive.
Yeah. So I thought let's start off by almost going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And when I first voted, and I remember the first time I voted, it would have been something like possibly the 2010 elections, actually.
I voted in 2000 and... No, I think you're right. I think it would have been early 2010s, wouldn't it?
It's 2008 or 9.
What was then?
Would have. So Labour came out in 2010. So David Cameron came in 2010.
Yeah.
So the previous one before that would have been. I don't think Gordon Brown had an election, did he?
I don't think there was anything. There would have been a council election.
He stood for
wouldn't it?
re-election, but I don't think he was elected because
No.
Tony Blair handed the baton down to him. So I think the first election I voted in was actually when David Cameron came into power.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I don't seem like that long ago, does
That must
it?
have been the same for me then.
And I voted Lib Dem.
Would there have been a council election before then?
There would have been council like little by-elections and whatnot, but no, I think the first general election I voted
would have
in
been that, wouldn't it?
would have been that one, and I voted Lib
You
Dem.
voted Lib Dem?
Yeah, I took the day off work to do it, so I'd never done it before. So I thought, it's going to be a big, whole, complicated thing.
I'm
This,
going to have to take the day off so I get this right.
yeah. And I remember going over to the church where it was in Weston. Walked over, gave him a piece of paper. They gave me a piece of paper. Go make my mark, hand it back, and it was done.
You're like, oh,
Where's the fanfare?
what do I do for the rest of the day?
Where's the ceremony? I thought, like I had to pledge allegiance or something. I don't know what I was expecting.
It really is such a quick thing
Yeah.
as well, isn't it? It's just a moment of your day. That's all it is.
Yeah, so that was the first one I voted for, and I think the next one, I think prior to that, after that, then it would have been Labour. Labour.
So I would have voted Labour in that one.
Yeah.
The only time I haven't voted Labour was the election that Boris called.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe I'm being contrary, maybe I'm just being a bit of a div, but my summary of that election was the Tories couldn't fix Brexit. Like, Boris got us into the Brexit problem, let's be honest, him and his mates got us into the Brexit problem. And my thoughts on when he called that election were he's trying to get out of it. It felt like to me, if you watched what I got from watching the Tories campaign is that they were trying to throw the election. And in my mind, I was just thinking, no, you ain't getting out of it. This is your mess to fix.
Yeah.
This isn't Labour's mess to fix. This is your mess to fix. Even if it's not a great fix, you got to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
The next election, you're being binned off anyway. I was always fairly sure of that.
Yeah.
But that election felt like they were trying to throw it. So that was the only one I've ever voted Conservative.
Was that voting Liz Truss in or voting Boris in?
That was voting Boris back in.
Okay, so Liz Truss left. You didn't vote for Liz Truss when she had her
I
election.
don't think we did vote for Liz Truss, did we?
Not Liz Truss, Theresa May.
No, I was in France. Yeah, I was in France for that one.
Okay. So you came back and then Boris was the first
when
one.
I came, the first one I got back when I came back from France was when Boris called an election. Boris.
Yeah, notwithstanding the time I actually joined the Conservative Party and went down the route of trying to become an MP for that party. So apart from that, otherwise my record has been Labour. It's been Labour.
Well, yeah, but when you did that, you was young, wasn't you?
Yeah.
So you didn't have all the facts. You didn't know all the facts. You didn't know who you were at that point.
No. And I was having this thought on the way in. Because one of the policies of the Labour Party is to bring 16-year-olds in to vote. Should they actually be given a vote? Because they're so easily influenced. And when you have the way social media is, TikToks and so on and so forth, could that be taken advantage of by maybe less desirable parties, in our opinion, to get their vote? And actually, should the voting age not be till you're 25, when you know who you are a bit more?
Yeah.
It's a funny one.
There's a lot to be said for the immaturity at that point. Or, everyone has it. Everyone is immature.
Yeah.
We still are.
Yeah.
I don't know. 16 feels a bit young to me. Like you say, you're a bit too malleable.
Because as a 16-year-old, you could listen to someone like Sunak go, $2 grand, $2 grand, $2 grand, $2 grand, and you're going to believe that.
You'll go, oh, it must be $2 grand.
Yeah, you're not going to go out and fact-checked and...
No, you haven't learnt enough to realise, wait, they're all liars.
Yeah.
Let's not get it wrong. Starmer's a liar. He just hasn't lied because he hasn't really said anything.
But I think...
it's coming.
I understand why 16-year-olds should have the vote, because they're voting for something which they're going to be an adult in.
It's almost like it should be I don't know if this is the right way of saying it, but like a representative vote.
Yeah.
You can have a vote. It doesn't really count towards the numbers, but it is a significant point of data.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like your vote it's not gonna sway the vote. It's not gonna decide whether, who gets in power. But it's an important piece of data that is needed for.
So it's interesting.
It's also, sorry, just to add to that, probably quite easy to get as data goes because they're all in school.
Yeah.
So, and then what they do is, the schools will just arrange it. Go, right, everyone needs to go down there and sign the bit of paper.
So I think the whole your vote, why should I vote? It doesn't matter. Argument is not flawed. It's flawed, and everyone should vote. And that whole attitude, it don't matter. My vote won't count. In somewhere like Basildon, it would have counted yesterday because the Conservative chairman only won by 20 votes.
20 votes?
Yeah.
Was that it?
There was a recount because it was 20 votes, and I don't know who called the recount, but maybe they all agreed to do the recount.
They probably all went, we should probably check this.
And 20 votes for the Conservative chairman. He was airdropped into this constituency.
Right.
He was I think up here in Northumberland or something.
Yeah.
And he just basically didn't want to represent the area.
Right.
So he went down to what is supposed to be a super safe seat in Basildon.
Right.
And 20 vote margin.
Wow.
So in that case, every vote does count.
Every single vote counted there.
And I think if you look at where quite a lot of the margins were maybe only a couple of thousand in it, still every single vote counts.
Well, I reckon it was only a 60% turnout, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I think when Tony Blair got in, it was over 70.
Yeah.
I seem to remember hearing...
So Tony Blair was in the sort of 60s to 70s.
Yeah.
I looked at the chart. Maggie Thatcher was like 80%.
This is like voter turnout.
Yeah. And I think you could probably take that from a lot of people being like, oh, it's a done deal. Why do I need to go out and vote? Labour are going to win. And it's like that was all from day one. It was Labour's going to win.
Every single vote counts, though.
Yeah.
Because what? Now this is more of my opinion rather than based on any real fact.
Yeah.
This is just my ideas on it. It looks as though to me that a lot of what Reform have gained, in fact, all of what, well, not all of it, but yeah, a lot of what they've gained is from people going, the Conservatives aren't representing me, but I'm not voting Labour.
Yeah.
I think there's that in it. But also, I would say that Reform have got the right-wing vote.
They have.
But the far right-wing vote. You've got these far right-wingers who are going, the Conservatives don't represent me anymore. I want something more right-wing.
Yeah.
Which is what Reform have taken.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much more availability for Reform. I don't think there's many. I don't think there would be many more votes for Reform than what they've had now.
Oh, so the 4 million votes they got, you think?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think because any centre or left-leaning Labour voter, in my opinion, is unlikely to vote Reform.
Yeah.
No matter what they say, because a centre or left-leaning Labour voter I don't think they would believe the things they say. I certainly don't.
Yeah.
And I would say I'm centre-left. I think I think the centre-left would more likely lean towards the centre-right in conservatism. I don't think there's any more vote availability for Reform.
Yeah, so Reform's right.
Yeah,
it's right through to extreme right. That's where they sit on the spectrum. But you do have to look at that and go, 4 million people did vote.
Oh yeah, and that's not to diminish who the people who voted for them. I'm not saying that their vote isn't important or accounted for. That's 4 million people whose voice they represent.
But what it means,
I think that might be all there is.
What it means is there's two things. The Conservatives, because it appears all the kind of central left Conservatives are out. And what's left is central right in the Conservative Party. Rishi's going to step down at some point. They're going to have to elect a new leader. Does that leader look like a right-wing candidate? We don't know yet.
No.
We've got people like Suella Braverman, who did get re-elected as an MP. She's always fancied a shot at the title. If someone like her gets into leadership role, she could then be looking at that 4 million votes and thinking that's what I need.
Well, certainly,
and I need that support.
So she might push the Conservatives, but they will leave people behind.
Yeah, they will leave people behind.
And there'll be a new centre-right party turn up out of it.
I think the 6.8 million people that did vote for Conservatives, a portion of that are just, I'm voting Conservative no matter what.
Yeah.
A portion of that is, I've done well under a Conservative government. And I forgot my other point now. But
I would be inclined to say that all of I wouldn't be surprised if you could quantify this, which you can't. I wouldn't be surprised if all of the Conservative vote was just people who have always voted Conservative.
Yeah.
That's their thing. I just vote Conservative. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I think that I wouldn't be surprised if that was the truth.
Yeah. So I think there is a danger with that 4 million. But what Labour has a chance to do now is to convince those 4 million that, hang on, we can stop the boats, we can reduce net immigration.
And let's not forget, right, that stopping the boats, actually, to stop the boats, it just actually relies on a better relationship with France.
Yeah.
That's what that needs. That's not to stop those boats, we have a better relationship with France.
Yeah.
Between the two countries, we fund the housing of these people, whether they come here or they stay in France. It's a worldwide problem.
The thing is, over the next couple of days, Le Pen might win. And immigrants might not even make it through France.
Well, they might not.
That just might. The problem might just sort itself out.
I don't think it will, though,
because they'll just go, because they'll take a hard line against it.
People will find a way.
But the thing is, I don't know how easy it is to get into France. Probably quite easy.
Well, I don't know. I've never had to do it beyond getting on the ferry.
Yeah. The continent. Once you're on the continent, you just walk across borders. I guess there's no hard border, is there?
Well, all you've got to do is get into Europe. Once you're in Europe, it's easy.
That's quite a big thing for them, anti-immigration. Like, stop the boats. Theirs is the same.
Yeah.
So, there'll be when I say the problem will sort itself out, there'll be more of a filter for people to come through.
Yeah.
And if you can stop the ease of it, then, people won't be coming through.
It will just, yeah.
But no, if Labour can do in the first sort of 100 days, 200 days, show that they can stop the boats, for I'm not saying stop the boats, but like help that immigration issue.
Yeah,
that is big for them, and how they feel that they haven't got control of their country. If they can make those guys feel that way, then hopefully we'll be okay.
Yeah.
From that point of view.
Yeah.
So the Labour government have just got to do what they can in the first 100 days just to settle down that reform kind of insurgency, if you like.
I think the immigration thing is a problem that would sort itself out if there wasn't the media coverage, the fact that there's boats coming over.
Yeah.
If they go, right, okay, everybody, between us and France, let's find out who wants to get into the UK, why they want to get here. That's a whole thing that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And then the boats will stop.
Yeah.
And then we'll just do what we did before and bring over, a few coach loads every now and again.
Yeah.
Rehome them. You won't hear about it then. It will just be a number on a graph that nobody can prove anything.
He says he wants to smash the gangs, hasn't he? So that'll be something which I think.
Well, but to smash the gangs, what you do is you put in if you put in a system, you don't have a black market, do you?
Yeah.
Basically,
that's what he wants to eradicate, that ease of and the abuse that people have to go through.
Exactly.
Through these channels,
which will be that. I mean, that'd be a great thing.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I'm just referred to my notes.
Just checking his.
That's
notes.
why I'm checking my phone. I'm actually checking my notes.
Yeah, he's not looking at Facebook.
No. So talked about the first time we voted.
Yeah.
We've talked about the rise in right-wing politics and how we can.
It's a
hopefully Labour can sort that out and nip it in the bud.
I can't remember who said it. Somebody on Channel 4 said it. It may even have been Rory Stewart.
Yeah.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Stewart. It's possible that the UK is the leader in global politics.
Yeah.
It's a soft power thing. We've done the right wing thing almost. We've had the right wing government pushing further right, and as a population, we've gone no, we don't want it. It was just a thought process, I think, that somebody had, and I don't think it's implausible.
No, but as long as Labour take the lessons from it, though.
Yeah,
they got to take the lessons from it. They got to look to France and Italy and America, and they've got to appease the right side of things, haven't they? They still got to give them some rope. Not to hang themselves with, but they got to give them something.
They've got to give them a little bit back to go, look, that's not the right direction. We want to go back here.
As long as they can just help them with their big issues, which, as far as I can tell, is immigration and feeling left out, kind of not having control of their country or whatever.
But again,
they feel.
It just comes down to welfare, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you look after people, there will always be bad eggs.
Yeah.
But if you look after people, mostly people will then just get on.
Yeah.
And you won't have crime, and you won't have gangs.
So this is, of course, the first Prime Minister in our history where every single person in the UK knows what their father did for a job.
he in his sort of speech at the party conference bit that they do, he did go, I'm from a working class family.
Working class.
I might have mentioned it once or twice in his campaign.
My father is a toolmaker. My mother was a nurse.
Yeah, he did notice that, he did recognise that he said that a lot.
The NHS runs through my blood.
Yeah.
Runs through my blood. And that's fine. That's fine. He wanted to make sure that people, because he is Sir Keir Starmer, his name isn't very working class.
No, it's not very working class, but anybody can become a sir. Everyone can be knighted. Anyone.
Yeah.
You've just got to do good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good things that the royal family think of, anyway.
Yeah, so that's where I guess he's just making sure that I'm not a lord. I'm not part of the.
Not lordy above you. I'm not part of the establishment. I'm one of you. Yeah. Which I believe. I believe he. You're not going to get somebody like me with a voice like mine in power, but. I believe that he is a working class lad who just did good things, We live in a society where anybody can go to university. Might cost you money, and you might have to work really hard at it, but anybody can go to university. You can get the degrees and the masters, and you can go and become a judge and you can go and be Prime Minister. You can do these things in this society. I think it's a good bit of proof that Keir Starmer's there, actually.
Yeah.
Although I always thought the name Keir was a bit lordy.
I think he's named after like a friend of the family or something weird like that. I looked it up once.
Lord
like,
Keir.
Why have Keir?
Of Wiltshire.
Yeah, why not Dave?
Yeah.
or something like that.
Oh. We've already had a Dave though, haven't we?
We have.
And he was an idiot.
David Cameron. Any other Davids?
I don't know. Maybe.
Gordon? No, I can't think of any. So yeah, that's him. I think. So I was watching it last night. I stayed up all night watching it, and I think one of the first Tory candidates. I can't remember which seat it was now, but when he gave his speech afterwards, after getting kicked out, he'd been a politician, an MP for 20 years or something for this area, and he was fuming.
Was he?
Absolutely fuming.
Proper angry.
Not angry at the Labour winning, not angry at anything else, but angry with the party, the Conservative Party.
Oh, really?
And he was like spitting feathers. His speech, and one kind of phrase he said, which kind of struck a chord with me, was that he's fed up with performance art politics.
He's not wrong.
And
Keir's said exactly that, isn't he?
So he went on to say about the whole just basically lying, self-serving, writing articles in newspapers, doing one thing but then not acting upon it, and
or
just
doing
all
nothing.
about the media, and not doing the actual work that's required.
Yeah.
And he went on a big tangent about it and using, skirting around the swear words because he was trying to be professional, but he was livid with the party. And I think that theme continued. It continued throughout the night.
Did it?
All the Conservatives that were giving their speeches about, their exit speech, if you like.
Yeah.
They're all just saying how angry they were at the party. Except Suella Braverman.
Yeah.
Who was... She was apologetic, but she didn't say, she wasn't angry.
Because the outgoing politicians, they're not angry at the party, they're angry at the cabinet.
Yeah.
Aren't they? It's the cabinet they're angry with because they're the ones that everybody notices.
Yeah.
And then Braverman's, we're quite sorry because she was in the cabinet. She's the one who made this mess.
So the way she...
One of them.
Worded her speech and everything, and where I said at the start where she wants a shot at the title, she was like, this is my party, this is me, this is me, my. And she retained her seat, so that's why she wasn't saying she was angry at the party, but she was apologetic, sorry,
what
and saying how...
constituency is she?
She was somewhere around... I can't remember the name of her constituency now, but she was like... It felt like she was kind of setting herself up for leadership.
Really?
With her speech and just saying thank you and sorry and I'll fix this kind of thing was basically what she was saying. But and watching the numbers I have, they may have changed since. 12 cabinet seats have been ousted and 44 government ministers. So
wow.
Completely gone. Which I guess might not leave the party with too much experience.
I suppose, but that is kind of what happens with these things, isn't it? That I think the Conservative Party is just going to sit quietly in the background for a year or so while they sort themselves out. There are going to be people in the background of the Conservative Party that aren't MPs. They're guys who run the thing.
Yeah.
And it is going to be their job to go, right, let's drag this mess back together.
Yeah.
I don't think Braverman's going to be lead. I don't think she'll get in. I don't think they'll let her. I think they'll do that Conservative Party is over, love.
Yeah.
Go to reform if you want that.
Well, time will tell.
Yeah.
We'll know over the next week or two.
Exactly.
How that's going to pan out. But it's the politics in terms of, and this is what the pundits were saying, that it's very volatile at the moment, and that the electorate is very impatient. So if Keir and his team don't get their stuff together and get on with the job quickly, and in the first 100, 200 days show results, then there is that chance for the Tories to fighting back in 5 years'
I,
time.
I think Keir is an intelligent man, and he knows he's going to go for some easy wins.
Yeah.
You know, he'll go for some easy wins. I'm not saying the NHS is an easy problem to fix, but there will be things that he knows. Right, we can do that in a month. We can deal with this in a month. You know, the first thing he's going to do is scrap the Rwanda crap. Isn't he? He's going to go, right, we're not doing Rwanda. That's over. That's out of here. And that's an immediate win, isn't it? Because you go, I'm literally saving millions of pounds already.
Yeah. And inflation figures will come out soon, and Bank of England rate will be dropping at some point over the next couple of months.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to take credit for that, although it wasn't really his.
He wasn't, but he will be able to take credit for it.
It'll be a little good news
Sunak
story
called
for
the
him.
election at the wrong time for the Conservatives, didn't they?
And then we've got the budget coming up in. I don't know if they do. I can't remember if they do the budget almost immediately or if they wait till August for that.
I don't know. Wouldn't it be September time? Oh no, because he said he's delaying the summer recess, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah. Keir said that he's delaying the summer recess so that they can do some stuff.
Oh, so everyone's been called back.
Yeah.
Getting on with the job.
Yeah. I don't know how long, couple of 3 weeks, I imagine. But
Well, the thing is, they've had their recess, haven't they?
well, they've not been doing anything. For the last
they've been out
40 days,
campaigning, but they haven't been doing any government work for the last 6 weeks. So
so that I heard that somewhere that he's delayed it.
Yeah.
So that they can do some stuff.
Yeah.
Ready to start again in September. So I imagine, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the budget came out before. Actually,
yeah. Well, it's not a good look as well, is it? Walking into Paris and right, we'll have a 6 weeks holiday
I'm
now.
going on holiday. See you in the Bahamas. Although knowing Keir, he'd probably go to the Isle of Skye or somewhere, wouldn't he?
Something weird like that. Who'd go there?
Who'd go to the Isle of Skye, Joe?
And then, so if I look at the numbers in terms of how many people voted for who, so Labour got 9.6 million, Conservative 6.8, the Lib Dems 3.4. Now, what's interesting is they got 3.4 but 71 seats, and Reform got 4 million and 4 seats. So Reform got more votes than the Lib Dems, but less seats.
Say how many votes again? Sorry,
so
I went number blurry.
Reform got 4 million.
Yeah.
Lib Dems got 3.4. They got 500,000 votes less.
Wow.
But 68 more seats than they did.
Why is that then?
It's the first past the post system, and how it benefits certain parties. And there's a whole debate about proportional representativeness in Parliament, and that would only go on to benefit parties like
Reform,
and Green Party. What I'm glad about is that the Green Party, they got 2 million votes, 1.9. But they got 4 seats. They got half the amount of votes Reform did, but they got the same amount of seats. Kind of offers a bit of balance, I think, too. You got Reform with 4, Green with 4. You know,
that is a real big thing to mention as well. Is that Reform's the big news because they're the new party and it's Nigel Farage, but they did exactly the same as the Green Party.
Yeah,
you know, they've done the same as the Green Party. It really. Like, they're still a minority party.
Yeah.
They didn't take that much away from the Conservatives. No. In the broad strokes of things.
Yeah.
You know, it's just interesting because Farage is a populist and he shouts a lot.
Yeah.
You know, whereas the people from the Green Party, they don't shout like that, do they?
But they gained 3 seats from... They had 1 seat before.
I don't know the lady's name in charge, but she said their aim was to quadruple their sitting,
which they did.
And is exactly what they did. Yeah.
So well done to them.
Yeah.
I thought lots of independents. I haven't got the exact number on the independent vote because there's so many and it's just endless scrolling. But I think they ended up with something like 16 seats.
Wow.
As a, you know, they're all independent, but as a, you know, portion. I think that's up on before.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
But that's people like the old Labour guy,
Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, so he retained his seat as an independent.
Yeah.
I was glad to see George Galloway not getting his seat.
Yeah.
Labour took that one, which is good. But yeah, there's a few independents which have been a Conservative, left the party, stood as an independent. And it's the same happened with Labour with a few of them.
Yeah. The question is what, like...
I say left, kicked out and left.
Yeah, kicked out and left. A question with the Conservatives that are left, is it because the Conservative Party was going too right for them, or is it because the Conservative Party wasn't right enough for them? And do you know what I mean? Like there's
one
two
guy,
sides of that coin, isn't there?
Yeah, there's this one guy, and I can't remember his name, but so he left and joined Reform, and he's won a seat.
Yeah.
And he
so
probably
that would be
left
where the
because
Conservative Party isn't right enough.
Wasn't right enough, yeah. Yes, I think he left sort of only not too long ago, really, a couple of months ago.
Okay.
And then he stood as Reform candidate, and he won. He won that. But yeah, the numbers, and it's interesting, and there's this whole debate about should we have proportional representation in our system. A few other countries do it. I don't know which ones do, but it's. If you think that Labour got 9.6 million and then Reform got 4 million, it's like, would that mean maybe Reform would have something like 100 Parliament members?
How many votes did... Well, I mean, there must be something like that because the Lib Dems have got 80.
Yeah.
And Reform have got 4.
Yeah.
And yet they've got about the same amount of votes. Or 500... Was Lib Dem
half a million less, yeah.
Yeah, so there's something going on there, isn't there? Let's be honest. How many votes did Labour get? Did Conservatives get?
6.8.
So,
and they got 121.
You know,
so they got 2.8 million more.
Yeah,
but they got 121 seats versus 4. And that's all because it's first past the post. It's who's got the most votes in that area.
Yeah, so that's where you'll have things like the Basildon thing, where the Conservatives only won by 21 votes.
Yeah,
but that's that got them past it.
And like the first 3 or 4 seats, sort of I watched this morning, it was Labour with 16,000, 17,000, and then Reform with 10,000, and then Conservatives were like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Reform came second place in a lot of constituencies, and they don't. Obviously, then they don't get any representation at all. These guys.
No.
But I don't think it's something we'll see in this Parliament because it's not part of their manifesto, Labour, to change the way which we vote.
No, and also,
but it does come up every time. So we should have proportional
every single time
representation.
The other thing that I think is always worth remembering as well is that Farage has tried what?
7 times prior.
7 times to do this.
This is the 8th time of asking.
But every single party has been a new party that he started and then disbanded it. A new party that he started and disbanded it.
Yeah.
There was UKIP, there was the Brexit Party, and whatever other rubbish that he's done.
He has stood as Conservative before.
Has he?
Yeah. I think that's how his roots are in conservatism.
And then, but what's going to happen is, I wouldn't be surprised if he's now gone, right, cool, I've been an MP, I'm done, bye.
Yeah.
I'm going to America. Because I think everybody who knows about him is fairly sure he just wants to get in Trump's pocket.
Yeah. He wants to go over there, he wants to advise in America, he wants to get paid the millions of pounds.
Yeah, that's all he's in. So I wouldn't be surprised if not before the next election.
Yeah. And he might not enjoy...
He just retires, he just I'm done.
He might not enjoy Parliament because the amount of scrutiny he'll now be under.
And let's be honest, the man doesn't seem inscrutable, does he?
And his meetings with Russian ambassadors and people like Donald Trump and right-wing this. And
because he's only interested in making money.
All that will be on record.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And he might not be able to have it on record because it's all dodgy.
So there'll be... We could see that. We could see him stand down in a couple of weeks.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or even a year. Yeah, he might give it a year.
Because I think he's pretty spineless as well. I don't think he's... I don't think he's robust as an individual.
I don't know. He's a very good. He gives a good speech. He knows his way around a word.
Yeah, he does. But that doesn't mean that he's got integrity. It just means he knows the English language.
He can get a crowd going.
Yeah.
He is a good leader.
But so can cheerleaders and a man in a tiger costume.
Yeah, but in his party, he is a good leader. You can't deny he's not a good leader.
Oh, no. But
he's great at giving speeches. He's good at getting a crowd together.
Yeah, but that ain't a member of parliament. That's just part of the job.
Yeah. But I don't write him off.
No,
because he is smart.
Yeah,
he does know what he's doing.
Yeah,
and I think if you underestimate him, it's a dangerous thing to do.
I think where I'm going is I'm fairly convinced his only actual aim is to make money.
Yeah.
That's all he's interested in, is making money. And that can be the downfall of a person, can't it?
Yeah.
Because if all you're interested in is making money, you wouldn't be doing a fabulous podcast like this, would you?
Well, he was an MEP for 20 years, earning whatever they earn.
I think that's another conversation for you to tell me about, for you to explain to me, because I don't understand that. Yeah. I don't know, but we'll talk about that another day.
So, and the thing with MEPs, obviously we're not part of that now, but that was proportional representation. So that's how he managed to kind of have a seat at the table for so long.
Yeah,
because there was enough people.
And then he got the British public to vote him out of a job.
Yeah, pretty much.
He had a job for life there. If he'd have just kept his gob shut.
Yeah, he could have had a job, just kept banging that Brexit drum.
That's all he had to do, just kept his gob shut.
In the European parliaments. But it's quite ironic, really, because even what I've read a comment or heard it or whatever it was in the whole thing of last night. It might have been a little tweet. Nigel Farage is going, or Nigel Farage. Yeah, what he said in his speech afterwards. I'm gonna put is it Clacton?
Yeah,
gonna put Clacton on the map. I'm gonna increase investment in the area. I'm going to increase. I'm going to make sure immigration comes down, and I'm going to increase tourism. Check notes. I'm going to invite people into Clacton. That whole we don't want anyone to come here.
Yeah,
but do come.
But do come here because of tourism.
Yeah, come here for the tourism of Clacton. But yeah, no, I think it's been a great 24 hours.
Very exciting.
We just watched
dull.
Starmer do his speech.
Had a little smile, didn't he?
A little smile at the end.
Little smile.
And yeah, he seems to be right now. Let's get on with the job.
Yeah.
So, Godspeed to him.
Yeah, and I hope he does a good job. I hope all of this, everything. There's no specific thing to say, but I hope everything that has been and has come to pass and will come to pass is going to be good for all of us.
Yeah.
I feel really positive. I feel really optimistic that we're out the other side of quite a dark decade.
Yeah.
And then we're going back into something good. What I liked is during this speech, he didn't immediately just blame the Conservatives.
Yeah.
Unlike the Conservatives for the last 14 years. Mm-hmm. They've been in power longer than Labour were.
Yeah.
And yet they have just spent 14 years blaming them for everything.
Yeah.
Haven't they?
The future is bright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
And I'm looking forward to not now talking about politics for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, let's leave that alone for a while, shall we?
I think we'll come back in maybe 100 days, 150 days, and
something like that,
we'll touch base and see what happened. We'll talk about
if anything happens, we'll mention it.
We'll talk about the cabinet and ministers, and we'll see how the dust settles, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it again at Christmas time.
Probably will be Christmas time, because like we said, there's going to be the summer recess and
the budget and all that. But I don't want to talk about politics now for a few weeks. While. So So we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
And we'll be back same time
next time
on the Outside Scoop.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Where the bad piano start to show, keys all out of tune, just watch them go. Welcome to Adam and Joe talking nonsense on the Outside Scoop podcast show.